Hello guys and welcome to another episode of the What You Want channel. Today it's going to be another review of the Seiko new Alpinist, the SPB121J. It's not the Alpinist, it's not the new Alpinist, this is what I call it. Seiko called it. It's inspired by the Alpinist whatsoever. It looks like the predecessor, so I call it the new Alpinist. It's going to be a new kind of review as far as I'm trying at least to keep this one brief. I mean, you can watch other videos giving you the dimensions of the watch, so on and so forth. You can look that up on the internet on your own, and I don't want to bore you. I think what you want, at least what I want if I look or watch such videos, is to get an impression of an owner, to get the owner's perspective. So this is what I'm going to give you in this video. I've bought this, I think, pretty much 5 or 6 weeks ago, and I'm really happy with this watch. Right out of the box, it's really a stunner. I really love this green dial. I mean, you can get other variants, a cream dial, a white dial, and a black dial. I mean, you can look this one up, but this is the classical design, almost identical to the predecessor, except for the magnifier and the white date. I think it had the black date before, but apart from that and the nut sign crown is pretty much identical. And the main difference you get is the movement. It's the 6R35 with the 70 hours of power reserve. So this is the data. And yeah, the watch comes with this standard box. Usually people are not interested in boxes. I think it's part of the buyer's experience, and as considering the fact that this watch is really highly priced, I mean, it's like around 800 euros. I've bought it under 600 and you shouldn't pay more for it. I think this could be made nicer, and it comes with this strap. I mean, this is probably the first criticism. It is pretty soft. It should be better than the one of the predecessor. The clasp is signed and the mechanism is just okay, but it's simply not my cup of tea. I mean, this, in my opinion, looks way too dressy. The overall appearance of the watch, I get the feeling that it's somehow an in-between of a dress and a field watch. So it's pretty much casual, smart casual, but not really, really dressy. I mean, somehow it doesn't really work for me. If it was used as a dress piece, somehow the compass is superfluous to me. I mean, it's a matter of personal preference, but I don't like this crocodile style leather. But pair it with a leather strap like this one, it really gives you a casual, very laid back appearance. Other straps that can be used, like this green one, also very, very nice. I will present a special on straps on this particular watch, but well, let's come to the watch itself. The case is really nice manufactured. I really like the high polished surface of the watch, and it isn't that much of a scratch magnet. I mean, it also has like brushed parts, probably because of its size. It's not too big, 39.5 millimeters, and even though it's pretty tall, the watch, it wears very nicely. So the lug-to-lug distance isn't too bad. So let's put this watch on my 7-inch wrist, and you see what I mean. You see, it's not too big, even though it's pretty tall. Because of the rather small lug-to-lug distance, it easily slips under the shirt cuff, and it's just wonderful to wear. So the case is definitely a big plus. The finishing, also that it gets a see-through transparent case back, is very nice to have this window here, especially if it's your like first mechanical watch. It's just amazing to look at the actual movement, and the movement is also great. 70-hour power reserve, especially if you have a lot of watches in your collection. It's nice to have such a long power reserve, making sure that if you put this watch out of the box, it will run. The dial is beautiful. The green and the shimmer and the indices are just applied perfectly. One thing I forgot about the case, it would have been nice if this would have a signed crown like the predecessor, or like you can find those crowns on the Seiko Sumo I have. Somehow it gives the watch a feeling of a little more quality. It's a screw-in crown. The movement, to come back to this again, winds very smoothly, very nice. Point of criticism is the action of the compass. You have to really look closely to see what I mean. I have the impression, it's not my impression actually, it's a fact, that it moves somehow not only in circles, but also up and down, so that the calibration, I mean, not the actual calibration of the compass, but the, let's say the ring that it is part of the compass isn't really applied correctly to the watch. So let's concentrate on the S, and I'll move the compass, and you will see that it goes also up and down. Yeah, probably it's difficult to see, but there is some play to the up, like up and down, and this can be seen that it sometimes doesn't really center. Sometimes the S or the south is perfectly on the 6 o'clock marker, and sometimes not. There's some play in it, and for a watch at this price point, this shouldn't be the case. This is my opinion. Apart from that, actually, I guess it's a wonderful watch. It really, let's say, satisfied my urge or need for a green colored dial. It is quite subtle. I mean, you see, if I pull it here, it looks almost blackish. And if I pull it here, you can really see the green shimmer. And also the legibility is very good. Maybe you can doubt that, but even though if the lighting conditions are not so great, or you don't have lume on the hour, on the numerals, they have a shimmer to it. So actually they can easily be seen in different lighting conditions. I mean, if you just move it slightly to the light, in person you see it way better than on video. You can easily read the watch. So definitely a big plus. The magnifier is definitely a big discussion point. I mean, many people tell me that oh, the magnifier is ugly, and yes, somehow I could have lived without it, but somehow it's perfectly applied, and the magnification level is good, and I'm not sure whether I should remove it or not. I mean, it's like some pro and cons. Probably I'll leave it just where it is. But apart from that, to summarize it, a wonderful watch. If you're looking for a field watch or a dress watch, if you're not sure whether you want the one or the other, this is definitely a crowd pleaser when it comes to these kind of watches. It will perfectly fit into this like in between a field and a dress watch. And if you don't have a Seiko and you want something that is like not the typical diver, this is definitely the watch to go. Just make sure not to pay over 600 euros, because I don't think that it is worth the money somehow, because for 800, 900 euros, you also get in the range of like Sin watches, which I consider to be even a little bit above those Seikos, but overall a great watch. So I can really recommend it. Please, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, or if you didn't like it, leave some criticism below what I can improve. What do you really want in those videos? What should I do better? Apart from that, thank you very much, and see you on the next one.